So we just talked about this literally 2 days ago, but the Baltimore Ravens made it happen, and they just got a whole lot better as they add the all-pro safety Eddie Jackson back there in their already loaded safety room and secondary, man. The Ravens are truly looking to make this a deep, no-fly zone in Baltimore. So the Baltimore Ravens have officially signed Eddie Jackson, and we're going to break that down in this video. Everything you need to know about the all-pro safety that the Ravens just signed and added to their defense under first-year coordinator Zachary Orr. The first thing we got to talk about is he has an all-pro and 2 Pro Bowls under his belt. His best years coming in 2018 and 2019, but also still playing at a very high level. When I started to watch Eddie Jackson's tape, the first 2 things I immediately thought is smart and instinctive. And when you pair those 2 things together in a safety, usually you got yourself a pretty good recipe. He's very smart. He knows where to be, and he's very instinctive as far as reading the quarterback's eyes, route recognition, and he's got some speed and some ranginess. He's played both strong and free safety in his career, but I think he's going to play more cover 2, single high, field roaming type of roles with the Baltimore Ravens as that third safety that Geno Stone played last year a lot. And I think he's going to be on the field a lot for the Ravens. Speaking of his instinctiveness and his ranginess and how much he gets his hands on the football, Eddie Jackson's 6 defensive scores is actually tied with Marcus Peters for the most since entering the league in 2017. So he gets interceptions, and he tends to bring them back a good ways as well. It's also reported that the Ravens had interest in a few different safeties on the market, but ultimately decided to go with Eddie Jackson after his workout in Baltimore. Thought he looked really good. Now, 2 days ago in an episode of Ravens Reports, we talked about the rumors of him being in Baltimore for a workout. Turns out those rumors were true, and they liked what they saw during that workout, and now he gets to enter a full training camp with the Baltimore Ravens, learning the defense and being a big part of this upcoming season. And here's a huge stat. You got to check this out real quick, all right? So with and without Eddie Jackson last year, here's the difference for the Bears. The success rate on defense was 6th in the NFL with him on the field, and 11th with him not on the football field. And EPA per drop back, it was 7th versus 30th. That's a huge difference. And then yards per play allowed with Eddie Jackson on and off the field, 12th versus 23rd. So anytime Eddie Jackson was on the field for the Bears last year, he played in 12 games, played 87% of the snaps. Anytime he was on the field, there was a night and day difference with the comfortability of the other guys around him. It was talked about with Jaquan Brisker, felt much more comfortable with his partner there in Eddie Jackson. And you can see it here with the numbers: 6th versus 11th in success rate, 7th versus 30th in EPA, and then 12th versus 23rd in yards allowed per play. So Eddie Jackson was making his presence known just last year on the football field. In his career, he has 15 interceptions, 44 pass deflections, 10 forced fumbles, and 459 tackles. Now, the other really exciting parts about adding Eddie Jackson is not only like all the versatility with the secondary that we're going to talk about and how deep it is now, but he has some familiarity with some of these guys on the Ravens, which helps bring a guy into the locker room and instantly feel more comfortable and feel more at home, because he's played in his entire career in Chicago. He's known nothing else, but he gets to go play alongside his former running mate and Roquan Smith when those two guys were racking up all pros together, just wrecking shop on defense. He gets to go pair up with his former buddy in Roquan Smith. But that's not all. He also has familiarity with Marlon Humphrey and Derrick Henry from his days in college at Alabama. So he's got the Alabama roots with Marlon Humphrey and Derrick Henry. He's got the Chicago roots there with Roquan Smith. And here's what NFL Network writes on their website: it'll be a massive change for Eddie Jackson, who leaves behind a rebuilding Bears franchise after playing in just one career postseason game. Now, he'll be looking to aid a team with its sights set firmly on a trip to the Super Bowl. And I'm not exaggerating when I say I really do feel like this signing helps the Ravens get closer to that goal to help them win a Super Bowl, because it's veteran leadership, it's smarts, it's instincts on the football field, and it's also depth at a key position back there in the secondary where you got to have tight communication, especially going against some pass-happy teams like the Bengals and the Chiefs and, you know, the Buffalo Bills within our conference. Because if you look at the last 2 years, Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton have not finished the season, you know, all the games together healthy. Kyle Hamilton, I think he missed a game last year, was a little banged up, and Marcus Williams has dealt with some injuries as well. So not only can you get all three of these guys on the field at the same time, which the Ravens did with Geno Stone, Marcus Williams, and Kyle Hamilton last year, but you also have some more insurance at that position if one of these guys were to miss any extended amount of time with injury. So Eric DeCosta strikes again, and what's really cool about this signing too is because it's after the June 1st deadline, it doesn't count towards the compensatory pick formula. So the Ravens add another big-time veteran piece that, when we look back at this, could have made some key plays to help the Ravens, you know, get where they wanted to go without any type of compensatory pick consequences. So just for a second, let's admire the Ravens secondary, just how loaded it is from top to bottom. So at the cornerback position, outside corners, you got a lot of talent right now. Marlon Humphrey, who is an all-pro whenever he's healthy. Whenever, you know, he's been banged up lately and he hasn't been able to play at his 100%, you know, full strength. But Marlon Humphrey, going into the year healthy this year, he really wants to go into the season and show everyone who he is as a lockdown corner that we know he can be, that we've seen when he's healthy. So Marlon Humphrey. And then you got Brandon Stevens, who emerged last year as a bona fide starting outside corner that was literally putting the clamps on guys like Jamar Chase, one-on-one in coverage, and played just really well all throughout the season and was just consistent, not allowing a lot of big plays, coming up, tackling guys, tight in coverage, pass deflections. I think he got his hands on 1 or 2 footballs for interceptions last year as well. So you got Brandon Stevens, Marlon Humphrey as your two proposed starters. Then you also got Nate Wiggins, the first-round draft pick, who the Ravens were just shocked whenever he landed, you know, in their laps at pick number 30 whenever he fell. Nate Wiggins was the number 1 or 2 corner on a lot of draft analyst boards, and especially when it comes to just pure cover skills, that's the type of guy that Nate Wiggins is bringing. You know, that's what he's bringing to the table, man. So Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Brandon Stevens. Then you got TJ Tampa, who was just drafted, very talented as well. You know, Jalen Armour-Davis, who has shown some flashes. And then you got Pepe Williams, and then Trayvon Mullen and some other guys fighting for spots like Jordan Tolles and Kadar Holman. So this is going to be a really tight, competitive battle, not only for top starting positions and backup positions, but also just to make the roster, man. The Ravens cornerback room is very deep. Then you look at the safety position, Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams. You don't have to say a lot about those two guys. Kyle Hamilton was an all-pro, arguably the best safety in the National Football League last year. Marcus Williams, he's a rangy free safety playmaker. We know what he can do. Now we got Eddie Jackson, Ardarius Washington, and the 6th-round draft pick, Sanusi Kane, as well as the undrafted free agent Bo Braid from Maryland. So really deep secondary all around. Oh, and how can I forget about Arthur Millette as well, who started a good amount for the Ravens last year and made a ton of plays. So really deep, loaded secondary. And if that secondary plays to its full potential, the Ravens are going to have a top 5, you know, shut down elite type of defense yet again in 2024. As always, hit the like button if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know how you feel about this signing. Your true, first reactions. Let me know in the comment section below, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
When he wasn't looking, he ran me over.